Welcome in, everyone, to Barely Educated podcast by Bears fans for Bears fans. We are here to talk about a fitting end to the Bears season as once again, fourth quarter woes derailed their chances at Wait.
What?
Wait. They won?
They won!
They beat the Green Bay Packers? I'm kidding. That only really applies to the running back and the quarterback positions. They were trying. You can't convince me they weren't. And Matt LaFleur doesn't do the whole we're not going to try thing. Mm-hmm. Even if he's playing some second-string guys, he wants to win. And honestly, with where the Bears coaching staff is at and the turmoil, any win is a big deal for some of these guys, these young guys. So I'm kidding. It was just a funny way to lead.
No.
I am stunned. I'm still trying to recover. We're recording this at like 3:20, as I would not miss tonight's game.
No.
The stakes being that high is just too fun for the football fan in me. And somebody doesn't have a concert at 3 o'clock.
I don't. Yay! Sorry, man. December's brutal for a musician.
So that's true, man. It's all good. So we are here right after the game. We haven't heard any post-game comments. Chris, I guess I'll ask. This might be the all-time dumbest time I've asked you this. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, guess I'm fine.
Now he's Mr. Understated. The inner meatball is feasting, and he's all right.
You've seen, the Shawshank Redemption when Andy gets out of the pipe and falls in the water, and the music gets all triumphant, and Andy just lifts his arms up in the rain because he's free.
That is what you just did twice.
That was me. When that kick went... First of all, I saw the ball go up and past the line, like, okay, checkbox 1, it's over, it's not blocked. Number 2...
I thought it was going to be blocked. It looked like he was going to get it again.
Yep. Directional-wise, box 2, it was headed straight for the goalpost. Okay, check that. And then I waited till I saw the refs throw the hands up, and waited to make sure there wasn't a flag before I finally relaxed enough to,
I was waiting for the timeout whistle, the block, the flag, the doink.
Mm-hmm.
And then for it to go in by basically from a distance, obviously it's not quite this close, but it was super close. But it looks like it went in by the amount of space between a ref's arms when they say a kick is good.
Ooh, I didn't.
You know what I mean? It looked like that
was
how much margin for error it had.
Man.
So
I'm happy for Cairo because that's how they lost. It was a little redemption for him, You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I still think we need a kicker with a bigger leg. But obviously, first and foremost, I am happy for Caleb because finally he gets credit for a game-winning drive. When he's been denied it so many times, well, maybe not so many, 2 or 3 times this year.
Enough times for it to be irritating, and not because of his play or throws. Maybe the sack against Minnesota was on him, but it did get him to overtime that game. But because the operation is so bad, which there's some of that is a rookie QB too. I'm not trying to exonerate him completely, but my point is he's been pretty darn good in the fourth quarter all year with very little to show for it. And we got to clean up the operation. Hopefully the coaches do that. And maybe he's a tiny bit of that. But I am just thrilled for him. He's fired up. You could tell on the sideline. And he deserved this. Was he great today? I don't really know. Was he okay? Yeah, he was definitely at least okay. When the game plan is 17 screens, I don't know how to evaluate the quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Like you can throw away the film for evaluation until the end of the game. And then he made some huge throws.
Mm-hmm.
Also, shout out to DJ Moore. Yeah, the fumble hurts. Kind of a crazy play.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard not to fumble as a wide receiver, getting the ball that often with a guy breathing down your face.
Yeah, and it was
they're begging for him to fumble one of those at some point. The timing was terrible, but then he made a couple amazing catches. The one where Caleb zips it and he kind of catches it almost up by his head.
Yeah,
and the one where he had to pirouette behind because that was actually a bad ball.
Mm.
Barely a bad ball, but just a bit behind him. DJ had some great plays this game. And I'm just glad the fumble didn't ruin what was actually a pretty remarkable game by a really heavily worked wide receiver / running back today.
Yeah, and he caught the last pass too, right?
Yep, and
So a
caught the
little
last one.
redemption for him there, I guess. But
But yeah, I am 100% with you leading with Caleb. The numbers aren't going to impress anybody, but I know what he's going to care about, and he got off the schneid going into the offseason. I don't know what to make of that. You never know what, I mean, momentum is a fleeting thing if it even exists.
mhm.
But I'm glad that the player that I believe the future of this franchise, hopefully for a long time, but at least for the short term, is tied to, is going into the offseason with a win.
Yeah.
Did that get him to 20 touchdowns on the season too?
Yes, it should
I
have
think
20 and
she's at
6.
20 now.
And did you?
21 of 29 for 148 is a hilariously low yardage,
Yeah.
but it's efficient on paper. Only the one sack might be the best thing about it. Somehow he managed to only take the one sack. The running game continues to stink, 3 a carry. They just never help him out, you know. And
Right.
and DJ's touchdown is the big play, and then the plays at the end. But I'm happy for him because I know I just can't imagine what he's thinking if he goes into the offseason with an 11 game losing streak.
Yeah.
Going, I just led the comeback to beat the rivals on the road that we haven't beaten 5 years in 10 tries, 6 years. This coach is 11-0 against us now, 11-1.
Yeah.
He has some things to feel good about, and
Right.
I don't know that that means he's going to work harder than he would have, but I'm just glad he has some things to feel good about because I think the sacks are a real problem. I think the deep ball accuracy could be a real problem, but I think he's been largely in, I don't know, unfairly treated in the national narrative,
Yo,
considering
gosh,
the
yes.
stuff around him. I'm not saying I have no concerns moving forward, but I think people are acting like he's this huge bust, and it's like totally not the case either. And so this win will give him a little ammo, and I'm just happy for him because I know how much he wanted it. I'm happy for all the players who are out there clearly trying, which the last 2 weeks was basically all of them.
Yeah.
They had this lull where you couldn't quite tell.
Mm.
That team was trying against Seattle. They just sucked, and they were definitely trying today. And yeah, so it's just shout out to the guys like Kyler Gordon.
Oh man, he's
He had
so
a great
good.
game. He deserves an extension. The
He
only
does.
polls pick who clearly deserves an extension right now.
I would agree with that.
And Darnell Wright will get one too, but he's got another year. But
Yeah.
this was you just don't know, man. Like you don't know what it means to young players to win something like this who have lost at every game, like Kyler Gordon.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Every
I
time in
don't
a similar way. Yeah.
now go hire a good coach,
Yes,
and maybe
please.
you got something going into the season. The worst thing about this game is they may have suckered me back in. I kid. But
Moose.
did anybody else stand out though for you? Like, let's just talk players
Um.
for a second. We don't probably talk players enough because we're so used to losing and wanting to move on to the big picture. I don't want to do the big picture now. So who
I
else players
right.
wise stood out?
Well, I don't. I don't know line play, and I can't process what I'm seeing on the line as well as you can. But it sure seemed like the D line, at least against the pass, was much better today. Still really struggle against the run, but it seemed like the pass rush was much more effective today. And when you blitz Jordan Love, holy cow, he throws an incompletion. Who would have
No,
guessed
the
that?
pass rush got home several times. They finally called a hold. There were a couple they didn't
Yeah.
call.
Yes, I
Montez
think
got held at least twice. They didn't call one like up by the head, which is usually a given that they actually call that one. That was weird. He came out after that play
I'm almost
briefly.
ready to say that the Packers refs have moved to Kansas City. I'm almost ready to say that.
Well, come playoff time, you'll get there.
Okay, all right.
That's my official prediction. Speaking of Kansas City, the backups just gave up a touchdown to Denver.
They're
Got
gonna screw the Bengals, man.
I got the red zone muted on the other screen.
Nice.
But I think I think we should look at individual players and talk about
Okay,
who played well, who's especially the ones that are going to be here next year. I don't want to do the GM coach stuff. We'll have Friday. We'll do
sure.
the listeners. We'll hopefully record Friday, talk about whatever the news is early in the week, and that'll be season recap, big picture. Let's just enjoy the Green Bay win, the Bears winning in Green Bay for once
Bears.
today. And I think Caleb and Kyler Gordon are the two that stand out the most to me. And then DJ would have been right there, but the fumble hurts it a
Yeah.
little, but also bouncing back on the last drive with two big plays,
Hmm.
DJ. So we'll give him a shout out too. Who else would you say player wise? We had Santos as well.
It wasn't much, but Terrell Smith in the secondary, he
Big
made a
play at the end.
great pass defense. And then I can't remember if that was right after or right before number 29, forget his name intentionally, um, gave up that pass that Green Bay always gets, that heave it up in the air and see what happens, and the Bears defender loses his mind for a second. And I was so glad that Moose called him out on it immediately. Like, I don't know why you get behind the receiver right there. I was like, thank you. And yeah, anyway.
And then he was in position on the other one. He's just such a mess. He's like the
Yeah.
hardest player to figure out. And for those of you who don't know, the 29 is a joke in our group text. I just stopped calling him by name because I was so mad at him after the Commanders game, and I was tired of trying to remember if it was a V or a PH in the middle of his name. So I just started calling him by 29.
Right. 29 is easier.
He had a really good first half though.
It's just too inconsistent, though.
And then he has the huge run he gives up where he comes in with the hit stick instead of wrapping up. I mean, he's a corner trying to fit the run in a sense, being in the way is part of the job. But I just can't. You're just a way better team if that guy's not so stinking important to your roster.
Right. But so I think Terrell Smith has to be the number 2 corner next year.
Every time he plays, I feel like he's way more sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was a little. With him. 2 things about Jalen. One, a solid game for the most part till he got hurt. I was disappointed that he gave up the other, rainbow pass on the near sideline. But
I saw somebody on Twitter saying that it was actually on Owens and Jalen was trying to save it. The Owens is supposed to run with him, and Jalen figured out that he got crossed and didn't do it and ran over, and it looks like it's on him. I'm curious, like if Matt Bowen or somebody that actually knows secondary, because that's where I don't know what to tell you. If they would be able to help with that.
But one last thing about Jalen, his salute to the Lambeau faithful on his way to the locker room, my friend.
He got the win. He finally got a win against
them. A win, yeah.
That's probably, I don't know, maybe Caleb, but he might be the happiest guy in the locker room that they beat the Packers. Cole Kmet, yeah, they neither one have a win against the Packers.
They finally found Kmet. 2 catches for -3 yards?
Yeah, he's been found all right.
But the Packers knew that the Bears were going to just have short passes all day. That's what it looked like, at least.
That's exactly what has me in a pickle with this pod. Do I bother analyzing that when I know the coach is gone?
Right.
Because part of me is like, well, it might have something to do with Caleb. I'm like, it's probably because he doesn't think the line can hold up for anything. Hopefully that gets addressed. So now you're like, oh, it's hard not to do big picture. It's so hard not to just veer into it. But what was that? They never try to throw the ball down the field. Thomas Brown, the head coach, might be more conservative than Matt Eberflus, head coach.
That was crazy.
But when he was the OC, that was when Caleb was working the middle of the field.
Right.
And I'm just like, why did we backslide so much there? And that's what I mean when I say I don't think we can do much with this tape for evaluating much of anything. It's exciting for the psyche for the players going into the offseason, getting off the Schneid versus Green Bay. My gosh, I'm so glad we will go into the first Packers game next year. Future Mark is a big winner today. And it won't be 12-0 Green Bay in the last 6 years in Matt LaFleur's entire career. By golly, there's a 1 on there now.
There is.
11-1 ain't much to brag about, but it beats 12-0.
It sure, yeah.
Or 0-12, whatever.
I know what you meant, yeah. We forgot the most important thing of the win. It's Virginia's birthday, my friend. Yep. Happy birthday, Virginia. Happy birthday, Mama Bear.
So you're telling me everybody's getting extended.
That's right. Welcome, Coach Brown. No.
Oh, gosh. Hands out a senile lifetime contract to everybody. No.
That's right. Well, hopefully, yeah, it was, not having Jordan Love most of the game certainly affected the outcome. But I hope it shows the football world that maybe Green Bay is not as good as they're getting pumped up to be. Like that, I've heard people in the media say, "Oh, Green Bay could win the Super Bowl." Our buddy Danny Parkins said that a couple weeks ago.
They are absolutely wrong, and I love Parkins.
Yes, Lawrence Holmes thinks Jordan Love is great, and I was just like, "What are you guys?" I wonder if it's just Stockholm syndrome from being a Bears fan. You know what I mean? But I
Whatever
hope that.
Jordan Love is, he's way more Favre than
Oh,
Rodgers,
yes, yes.
which is not a bad thing to be, but I don't think he's
But
even that.
he doesn't have that cannon, though. I mean, his
Not
arm's
quite,
fine,
no.
but he doesn't have that.
Jordan Love is a solid to above average starter,
Mhm.
being paid like a top 3 or 5 starter for the next few years before the run of extensions bumps him back down.
Mhm.
And I think that contract hurts them some, but they're exceedingly clever. They've got the offensive line mill where they just draft whoever, wherever, and they're good. So I'm not going to sit here and gloat against the Packers. That's an incredible organization who
No,
knows
no, no,
exactly
no,
what they're
no.
doing. We just finally won one against them, which
Stole
feels
one.
great as, you know, beleaguered Bears fans, you know.
Stumbled and bumbled our way into a win. That happens a few times every year, you know.
I
So
don't want to do the you didn't deserve to win thing, but it kind of was such a sloppy game that you know who deserved to win? The Bears special teams deserved to
yes,
win. That was the best unit on either team. And I think the defense played pretty well, but it's kind of hard to evaluate with Malik Willis out there and
yeah, but they still couldn't
but the
stop the
pass
run.
rush was there. It was
Pass
there
rush was
again.
there, couldn't stop the run though.
Still can't stop the run.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But I'm
I
still
also
deliriously
thought,
happy, my friend.
yeah, yeah. I thought I would really love to know when they wanted Flus fired, and it was plain as day, the whole Jalen Johnson thing and
Mm-hmm.
all that. What was with the lull in effort for a few weeks, and then the uptick again once they played Seattle? I don't think that they could have won any of those games really with a better effort necessarily. I just don't understand why it cratered so hard, defensive effort at least.
Mm.
Whereas the offense is so bad you can't even tell for the season, right? But like when the Niners do whatever they want with half their backups in, what was
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Worst
Seattle's
case,
playing for their playoff lives, and you hold them to 6 points. You should have won that game.
yeah. If you had told me that, like, hey, the Bears held them to 6, I was like, oh, they
Green
won.
Bay's playing for seeding,
Mm-hmm.
and you won the game. I mean,
That's
that's
true.
that's the
It's
thing that's weird to me, and that's why I think the boost to the psyche could be important. I can't
mm-hmm.
evaluate it really, but for the first time that I think I've ever
For the
felt this
first
way about a
time.
late season win, I didn't want to lose just for draft position
Mm.
in a lost season. Normally, I'm all like, no, don't win, it's pointless. This felt like some of these guys needed this, and
Mm-hmm.
they're too important to the future.
Yeah.
So for once, I'm here for the win, not the moral loss draft standing. And I don't think this draft is the kind where you're like, oh no, now we're 12, not 9. It's not
Mm.
really a loaded first round like last year was. Holy cow, this is an incredible rookie class that's just wrapping up their rookie year. It's not just the QBs. You got one of the best tight ends we've ever seen as a rookie. You
Yes.
got Malik Neighbors kicked butt. If he
Mm-hmm.
keeps his head on straight, he's terrific. Anyway, I don't think this next draft is that. So I was all in on getting this win, and usually that's not where I'm at when you're 4 and whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. Meatball Mark, ladies and gentlemen.
The the meatball mark hot take is Jordan Love is not as good as Malik Willis for the Matt LaFleur offense. No.
That's right. Well, Meatball Mark, he
Watching
just needed
Malik
to
turn a
promote it.
couple passes though, it's like never mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. Like that 2-point conversion throw, like whoop, straight into the ground. That was pretty cool. Little shout out to
Can't
Rome
believe that
too.
one.
Rome with a big catch
Giddy
on
on
the
the
last
sideline.
drive.
Oh man,
Yeah.
my kiddo was super excited about that one.
Mm-hmm. That was huge. So yeah, maybe just good to see the young guys too. Maybe, well, not Cairo, I suppose. But I don't know. I still can't think straight. I'm still, yeah. Anyway, any speculation about tomorrow, or do you want to save that to an aftermath Friday? Because
I don't want to go ham on the process and how dumb it's going to be, but my prediction is he's not fired. Poles is not fired
and you agree.
because I think it's just they're the Bears, man. They're the Bears. They're not. This was fun, but they're still the Bears.
Yeah, I understand that.
And there's too many questions about all the Fluce hire process. I would fire him. I think the
Mm-hmm.
O-line being worse than it was, the sack totals being so bad, the 2 10-loss streaks. I mean, come on, it's been a pathetic performance on the field. And I would most importantly fire him because I do not want to waste the opportunity to hire an awesome head coach who might want his own GM or to be stable there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not letting Ryan Poles cost me that.
Right.
And that's as much as I want to do on that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's fine.
I think he's back. But we all thought Pace was going to be back,
We did. We thought he'd get one more coach
including the
shot.
beat guys. All the beat
Mm-hmm.
guys thought he'd be back.
Mm-hmm.
But Poles isn't sounding like someone who thinks he's about to be fired, so I have no
No,
idea.
but he looked like it a
In the
few weeks
conference, he did.
ago. So
So
I won't be surprised, but I think I'm leaning your
70-30,
way.
he's back would be my
Okay,
answer.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say
go ahead. You're not
60-40.
surprised. Okay,
But
so
yeah,
you're more
I won't be.
optimistic, surprised to no one.
Yeah, I guess so. No, I think I'm leaning more towards he won't be, but I will not be surprised if he is.
That's fair. Do you
But
think this game could have swayed it at all?
unfortunately, yes.
It absolutely shouldn't. But yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Because George is the meatball like us. He's one of us. But
You know,
hopefully
Poles
cooler
is
heads
like
will
on the
prevail.
phone with him right now. I knew we had football character. See,
Oh
we saw the
gosh.
football character. You can hear the conversation.
No, I mean that was Caleb. Man, there was even a holding call that pushed him back farther, and he
They
still.
survived a holding
They
call.
did, yes, and a perfect throw to DJ right in the middle of the
It's a
field. I don't know
New
why
Year's miracle.
Green Bay left the middle wide open. I guess they didn't expect the Bears to go there. But and another thing about the offense, they actually looked like they knew what they were doing on those two plays. The pass to DJ, get the first down, and the line all ran up to the line to get ready to clock it. They all looked like they knew what they were doing there.
That's also a first. Yep.
Yes, it was.
Otherwise, the operation was pretty stinking bad. You'd have been
Well,
like, well, here it is again. And then all of a sudden, at the very last two plays, you're like, wait, they did it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love how every Bears fan is like waiting for the flag, waiting for the
Yes,
timeout.
yes.
None of us believed it.
Yeah,
Man.
and the pass down the far sideline at 29 screwed up. I thought the game was over there. And they run that 20-something yard touchdown right after that, and like, yeah, this is going to be the end. And they don't get the 2-pointers, so it's like, oh, maybe not. And then more DJ fumbles the ball, like that's it. That's the play. Right after Moose Johnston says,
I
I can't
know.
remember the exact phrase, but it was like Bears fans wondering how they're going to screw this one up in the
And
very next play.
after I had joked around with my wonderful wife about how she sits on the couch and bad things happen to the Bears,
Oh no.
She's like not watching the whole game, sits down for the Hail Mary. And I
Oh.
was like, what are you doing? You can't sit here anymore. You know, it just gets a total joke, of course. And then
16.
after they scored, the Packers scored. So she sits down, fumble. DJ Moore fumble.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets up and goes in the kitchen after the Packers scored. And when the Bears had the last ball, she's like, "Don't worry, I'm staying in here."
Oh no.
It
Oh
was great.
no.
And then her friend from work that has the connection to Caleb from the bookstore that her aunt owns. Remember I told you about that?
Mm-hmm.
You've been in there. She's like texting her, and Jenna's like, I told her I didn't watch the kick. You know, it's just like everybody gets brainlessly superstitious. They don't even have to be big Bears fans.
Mm-hmm.
Cousin Nate has shared a hilarious tweet.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
No, not yet.
It's the meme where the two flexed arms, right? Going 1-5 against the NFC North, and it's the Packer and the Bears. And then, you know, 0-6. If the Bears don't have the field goal blocked, that would be the Packers' record against the division.
The Bears.
There's another reason to not take him seriously in the playoffs if you want to circle back to Green Bay for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
They've played several playoff teams now. And I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I know they went 0-5 against the Lions, Vikings, and Eagles. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm supposed to expect that they can beat, let's say, two of them in a row?
Yeah, they go to Philly. No, no. Mm-mm.
I don't see that unless Hurts is still concussed or something.
No, I don't. Yeah. But no, I don't expect that game to be a problem for the Eagles. There's more of a book on Jordan Love now. Pressure him. That's how
especially in
you
his
do it.
face,
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't really move laterally all that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it bothers him when it's done right, I guess is easy enough to say. So, looking around the rest of the league, the Bucks won.
Yeah.
They advanced to the playoffs at 10-7. Baker Mayfield had a heck of a season again.
He sure did.
Can
Let
we
that
get
be
the
a,
coach right so that we don't subject Caleb to a Baker Mayfield type career?
right. Let that be a lesson to football fans. Baker
A little
was.
patience.
They were calling him a bust 2 teams ago, but he was with
Yep.
Cleveland, and I mean, come on.
4,000 yards, 39 touchdowns. I don't know if
Yep.
that's accurate as of this game or not yet. Um, and then this is a strange one for me. Very quietly, the Buccaneers are 4-time consecutive champs of their division.
Really?
And that seemed like the sneakiest four-peat
Yeah.
in a division imaginable.
I did not know that. Hmm.
The
Washington.
Patriots cost themselves the number one pick, which is just hysterical. Although less funny since they have the QB in place, but didn't play him today. Do we care
Really?
about any of the rest of this? I suppose some of this would have mattered for draft status if we still were obsessed with that. And yeah, it's possible this cost you like a top edge rusher or something, but I just I think the psychological factor is bigger in this case.
Maybe.
Carolina beat Atlanta.
Whoa! Hey,
That's
another
something we should
lesson.
address.
Another
Another
lesson
lesson.
for quarterback hot takes right there. Bryce Young
Two or
looks
three
good now.
actually
Yes.
wrapped
Mm-hmm.
up into one.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, invest in the line for your young QB
Mm-hmm.
because they fixed the interior.
Mm-hmm.
They spent big on their guards this year, and then get him a coach.
Yep.
And that
And
coach even benched him to help him reset and then brought him back.
he looks good.
That must have been some excellent messaging to keep him from spiraling and then be able to bring him back and have him look much better.
Right. Yeah.
The season as a whole
Good
is
to
not
see.
impressive, but the
Yeah.
season since the benching is pretty good.
Yeah. Happy for Bryce Young. Good to
Yeah,
see.
the Panthers need not be our mortal enemies anymore, everyone. We can stop. It's done. I don't know exactly just yet when the pick is, but they were 5-12 as well, so we basically had the same year, which is frustrating. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Titans secure the number one pick? I think they did.
Mm.
My Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. Proximity team.
The incomparable Will Levis going to be replaced because that will be a sad day for entertainment.
Yeah, he that was and this is his second year. So looked less promising after his second year. That's rough.
He should be replaced if you have the number one pick. Are you kidding? I mean, this is not a great QB draft, but I don't see how you can, with a straight face, keep him when you have that pick. It's not even like Fields level of a debate. All right, you wanted to bring up Washington.
I just asked
23-19 over Dallas.
they did win. Okay, all right.
Mariota played really, I guess, pretty well by the numbers. I didn't watch any of it, obviously, with the Bears on.
So they
And
get
they are
this.
12-5. They will go to
Whatever
Tampa,
the third seed is, yeah. Is that Tampa or is that
or is it the Rams? What the Rams end up at?
Rams? Rams are playing right now.
Yeah, they're on right now. Oh, it'll be the Rams. No, well, so if the Rams lose, it'd be the Rams. If the Rams win, they'll be 11-6. Tampa's 10-7. So if the
Oh,
Rams win,
they play Tampa. Washington
yeah,
plays Tampa.
and the Packers are locked in at Philly, right? I think the only thing left is in the NFC is whether the Rams or the Bucks are the 3 seed.
Yeah. Okay.
And then of course the freaking awesome 1 seed thing tonight.
Oh, that game's gonna be awesome. Epic.
Just the stakes are so great.
Mm-hmm.
2 Bears coaching candidates squaring off against each other.
Mm.
Whether we like it or not, that is
I like
part
one
of the
them.
drama. Yeah, exactly. Can I just say real quick, and we'll have time for that Friday. I think Brian Flores is actually the last guy, Flores, whatever, being mentioned that I would want after how he treated Tua. There's the whole thing where he texted him, "Don't bleep up, you P word, tomorrow,"
Wow.
the night before the game.
Wow.
I don't want that guy anywhere near a young quarterback. I don't care if he's changed. I don't trust that. This is too high a stakes. No way.
that's one area where maybe George, being George,
Could
prevents
help.
that. You know what I mean?
You
Yeah,
think he's gonna like let them hire a guy suing the league?
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
The only problem there is I could see George loving the idea of hiring him if he drops this lawsuit and then be able to tell the league he got him to drop the lawsuit. But I'm scared of him as a candidate because of the way it went in Miami, and I'm scared of him as a candidate because of his connections to both Poles and
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
So
Especially.
I
Yeah.
want Ben Johnson to put on a clinic tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think the Vikings win
I
because
do
I can't
too.
trust the Lions defense,
Right.
and people have
Exact.
been sleeping
Same.
on the Vikings all year. They're really way better than we thought. Darnold should be in some kind of an award conversation. Unbelievable season. Another cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm. Stop it with
And
these hot take quarterback. Yeah.
I know. I think it's fun to end on the game that's starting here in a couple hours. And I think the Vikings win it. And I think that's a real kick in the teeth for a Lions team that had an awesome year.
Yeah, they
Much of
did.
the season felt like it was their season, narrative wise,
Yeah.
And
Injuries
the
just.
injuries,
Yeah.
there's just too many on that defense.
Yeah. One last thing I got for you. Tweet by @GrimPost. Caleb Williams has never lost at Lambeau Field.
That's right, my friend.
Bears, Caleb, that's my quarterback. Yeah.
And here's one for you from Bill Zimmerman. Bill Zimmerman is awesome. Everybody needs to follow him. And with that victory for Thomas Brown, Matt Eberflus remains the only Chicago Bears head coach to never beat the Green Bay Packers.
That's amazing.
That is almost worth. Almost worth.
Wow.
That's an important part of having tactics.
That's fantastic. Oh, all right, my friend. Let's put a bow
Caleb
on
Williams.
it.
This is interesting too. There's
Oh,
too much
okay.
now. Sean Hammond. Caleb Williams made the adjustment on the completion to DJ over the middle that set up the game-winning field goal. Original play call was to the sideline, which of course does make sense.
That's what I was
But
expecting.
Caleb saw an opportunity, presumably in the way the defense was aligned. He doesn't say in the tweet. Maybe Caleb did in his comments after the game. But he saw an opportunity and signaled to DJ.
Yeah, you could see it on when they showed the replay from behind Caleb. The whole middle was wide open.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's another guy we need to shout out, Kevin Byard.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had a really nice season as a veteran safety. You never really know if that's going to go well.
Yeah.
And a pretty solid game today. And I'd like them to bring him back. Of all the like older dudes they signed,
Yeah.
I think he's the only one I'd want back.
Mm-hmm.
But more on that Friday with the what's to come and season recap and all that. Bears beat the Packers in Lambeau somehow.
Somehow. Okay. Yes, that was beautiful. Good way to end a bad season.
Pretty much. And it really felt like it was going to be the same old story one last time.
It did. There were like 2 or 3 times during the game. I was like, well, here it is. That's what, especially the DJ fumble. I was like, oh, that's it. That's it. They're going to get close enough to get the field goal. And then when it was going to be like a 57-yarder, I thought, oh, maybe. And then he got it. Like, okay. And then the Bears tried that stupid end around. No, it wasn't. It was like the guy caught the kick and lateral to the next guy, and he slips and falls. I can't remember who was who on that, but I was like,
it looked like it might actually be a big gain, and he slips.
Yeah, he slips. So
it was back to who scored the touchdown? It's the same guy. Why can't I think of his name now? Number 39. Sorry, number 39. This is not a 29 situation.
No, it's not.
I am Blackwell. It looked like Josh Blackwell was going to break another one, and then he slipped.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But also, shout out to him. I can't believe we forgot to bring up the punt return. That was the most glorious thing ever.
That was
in
amazing.
A Bears-Packers game. A shout out back to the one the penalty called back in, what year was that, 11?
Something like that. It was back in the Johnny Knox days.
The glory days, sort of. what amounts to them for us. And then DJ with the beautiful acting job on it.
Yeah.
The camera's completely full. It doesn't get much easier than that on that punt return. Hightower in his bag to get himself a gig next year. Love it. Shout out to Blackwell, too.
Yeah. Yeah, special teams was probably the best unit today. You're right.
Tyler Scott had almost 30 an average on his
Oh,
kickoffs
but
too.
don't down it
They
out
had
of
that
the end
one
zone,
dumb
my
one
friend.
though. Holy cow!
That's like, what are you doing?
Great explanation by the broadcast on that,
That
because
was.
I was confused. I was like, I can see it move the clot of mud.
Yeah, he clearly
moves it. He clearly did, but you have to actually stop long enough. Like it's like they give you an oh crap button on that, because Pereira was like, he has to be obviously giving himself up for longer for them to call that there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was that nuance to it.
See, you can have good announcers in a game. It is possible.
Yeah, but Moose jinxed it. That ruined everything.
He did, but he's usually really solid in his breakdown. But
yep.
Much
but hey, enjoy the totally measured broadcast from Collinsworth with the number one seed on the line. It's going to be super great.
I'm going to hit the SAP button, I think, for this.
Yeah, watch it in Spanish.
See, goal!
It'll be fun. I guarantee you it will be fun.
Yes. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Bears fans, enjoy this one. We will. Hope you do too. Good way to end with a nice positive to finish the year in what was a seriously underwhelming season. Big changes are coming. We will talk about those as they happen. Thank you for listening to this episode of Barely Educated. And find us on the web, buymeacoffee.com/barely_educated. You can join our honor roll for $3 a month. And we'll send you a t-shirt. And when we get enough of you, we'll start doing some bonus content again for those of you in the honor roll. Bearlyeducatedpod@gmail.com is our email. All the socials at barely_educated. Bear down, my friends. We'll talk to you soon.
The Bears.
Go Pack, go the home.
Packers lose.